Damn and blast. That is such user error.
The
Guys,
first portion of this was the Spaces exclusive. That's all.
yeah, it absolutely was. It's now live, guys.
Okay.
Idiot user error.
We only do this like once a week. We're not going to get very good at this, are we?
No. Literally, I forgot to press go live. We were chatting before I jumped into Twitter space. I never pressed go live. Anyway, I totally apologize. That's all on me. Yeah.
No problem. It happens sometimes.
So many spinning plates. But yeah, did you have a question? Randall, you're welcome to come up as well. If anyone's got a question.
I would just say I'm just like excited what's to come.
Oh, thank you
for the project. And yeah, I saw the little demo with the cute cat. So yeah,
you know what? It got even cuter today. I saw like another pass on the art today for that mini game. So so soon I'm gonna post some more of that. The audio is, we have an awesome audio director on staff, Rodri, who's done loads of film and stuff, and so he's having a blast designing, curating all the audio, for each of these mini games. So it's really neat. We're naming them right now.
Oh, that's
and what's also cool, I should say, is so when you come in to play the Petaverse game, there's the web version of it, but there's also the app version of it. And so once you install the app, though, you can do everything from there. So if you want to play the web game, you can deep link straight from the mobile app into the web game. Like, we don't want any of this to be a pain in the ass for anyone. And like the experience now of having to jump between live and VR and AR and all of that, we want to make that super easy so that like a mainstream user just is like, oh, these are the things I can do. And you don't have to like go looking for things. So that's what I'm really excited about, is that's how it all starts to really come together as a full package.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine now, but like you say, it just makes it
it's
so
beta
much
testing,
easier.
It's beta testing features.
Yeah.
And a lot of the hard features are tested now, which is super cool. The stuff we're doing now are the things that, we've been doing for years. We know how to build, mini games and things. So yeah.
That's so super exciting. We're getting into this is your wheelhouse now, isn't it? It's really starting to be.
I'll tell you the honest truth. For a while there, I didn't feel like a game developer anymore. Here's my honest moment of like, I was starting to feel like an outcast in my own industry because I was just learning a different language, and I love all that, and I love all the people I've gotten to know because of Web3. But I'm starting to feel like I've found the bridge between them. And I was saying there for a while that like as a game developer coming into Web3, going on to Twitter and stuff, it's a really different world. There's two very separate worlds out there right now. They're the folks making Web3 games who are kind of staying largely away from the NFT crowd. And then there's the NFT crowd wanting Web3 games, but expecting it in the wrong places, from teams that don't know anything about making games. And so somehow we had to start smashing these two worlds together. And our approach to this now, this sort of ability to come in as a non-Web3 user and upgrade later, I feel like that's what's allowing me to like sort of combine these two halves of my brain back together. And so that's exciting, like to feel more like a game company again, which is, what we've been for a long time. So that's nice.
So you said you got about 10 mini games ready, have you?
20. Almost 20. Right now, there are 18 games in some degree of doneness in the app on my phone. So some of them are really far along. And even there, where I thought they've done, there's so loads of embellishment coming and particle effects, and the UI is beautiful. And, you guys saw what we did with the unboxing. We know how to do really pretty UI. So it's going to feel like a polished experience, when it comes. Some of them are super rudimentary and white box. But yeah, the team is all in on this. Like we have like 25 people. Almost everyone is 100% devoted to making that game experience right now. With the exception of the folks.
Like, I know you guys have you guys have like placeholder cats, right? Like a default for like if you don't own one of the NFTs. So like would these games be like an experience that anybody could download the app and like play them with like one of the defaults if they don't own one?
So the experience is going to be that you'll come in, and the first thing that you're going to get to do is visit an adoption agency if you don't have a pet. So there's two types of journeys here. There's the folks who already have one, and you're going to come in and you're going to see what looks like the VR version of your cat. It's because it's in Babylon on web, so it's just right there on the website. If you go into the app, you'll have the option, I believe, to toggle between the different looks. If you don't have a pet, you'll be able to build one. It won't be the sort of textures that you saw in the Ethereum collection. It won't be an NFT. It won't have any of that sort of value attribution, but it will be a pet that you can bond with, and that you could later upgrade as onto the blockchain. But it means everybody can play, like literally everybody can play. And we've got all sorts of cool ideas about how that, how we can tie that back into the, into the Genesis collection as well. I mean, because that's also really, so there's two really important things here to us. Is there's the folks who believed in us and are still discovering us, who we always want to take care of. And then there's the fact that we all need the other 25 billion people in the world to come on board too. And so we're trying to figure out a way to bridge that gap that does right by everybody. And I think
I've honestly I've talked about this a lot, like with different projects throughout the last 2 years who've talked about gaming, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Like this is awesome because like giving anyone the access to use it and then bridging that to like the original holders is one of the most bullish things I've heard, because a lot of these just NFT companies and like people trying to build games out in general have a very like closed-minded outlook where it's like, okay, holders get access and you have to have the NFT in order to even mess with it. And it's like, we're such a small ecosystem that doesn't make any sense. Like
it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And if you want a project of any sort or a game of any sort to be able to grow, you need money to become flowing into the project so that you can build. It isn't even just about the value of your specific NFT. It's about the whole ecosystem. And so it's important. And I saw that, it's one of the first things I struggled with about Web3 as a game developer, was when I was told we had to limit it to X thousand. And then we have to stop. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? There are more than 10,000 people are going to want cats. And, we talked about breeding, of course, but I also saw what happened with CryptoKitties. And we've actually already built breeding. It's working. So that's exciting too. And that's going to be, we're going to figure that out and how we're going to integrate that. But I'm like, we got to find a way to go beyond that. I'm like, you certainly want to have this intrinsic value in being first, but you also need people to be second and third and fourth and fifth and stuff, right? Because that just grows the pie. So it's hard, it really is hard. And then you see projects, you see Yuga getting pushed back for putting too much stuff out there, and other projects as well, Azuki and everything, for trying to expand, or you see the Doodles guys just not talking. And I think the biggest problem with Doodles, I think a lot of us would agree with Doodles on some things, but the fact is they don't talk about it. And it's like my biggest learning of the last 6 months is just be open and honest about shit.
Yeah,
no one can fault you when they told you,
Exactly. That's all I want to do is hear communication from the team. Like I don't need every little bit of information at all to feel like comfortable within an ecosystem, but like there's certain things that you want to let holders know so they have your back, and I feel like a lot of projects are missing that. The one thing with this though, it's like if you zoom out of this and stop thinking about NFTs in general and like only focus on the fact that these will be on like every phone on the world potentially, like that's huge. It's like I know so many people with kids that are going to see this and be like, oh, that's awesome, like my kids are going to love that. And then eventually like eventually that can tie back into the NFTs. Like it's like Trojan horse thing that I've been talking about for the last like 8 months, where like when it comes to NFTs, like we're all here. What you need to do is like bring other people into your ecosystem, make them excited, and then later on be like, also, you can own this on the blockchain forever. And like there's a lot of value to that. But like without that like initial Trojan horse, it's just not going to work. Like, you're only going to have people from the ecosystem and you're not really going to expand. So this is like the perfect storm, I think, to like bring 100%. In other people and like kind of like onboard them into blockchain in general via like a virtual pet, which is huge.
And the brands get it too. We're talking to loads of different property holders, and IP companies and stuff about this, and about how we can collaborate with them, how we can, you know, bring their brand into this pet experience. And I think what people love about it is that we've taken away the threat bit that everyone pushes back on. You know, when they hear, oh, NFTs, you sellouts and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's fine. We can push that off for now. And hopefully you'll end up there in the end. But you know, I keep saying you can either drown people in water or you can lead them to water. I think leading people to water is better.
I agree. It's also, you're providing value for, is this going to be like free to download, right? Because I downloaded the app and I could immediately choose like a default pet, all this other stuff. So like by not gatekeeping the usage of the app, that's huge. All you got to do is tell somebody, hey, there's a virtual cat. Do you remember Nintendogs? Like, this is really cool. And then they can try it out. Like, I could send this to my normie friends. And then once they're trying it, they're like, oh, this is dope. And I'm like, yeah, these are my 2 pets and they live on the blockchain and I could sell them if I ever want to. Like, that brings back the whole NFT side of it, where I can actually like tangibly explain what's happening. Cause it's really hard to explain this stuff to like even some of my more like technical level friends. They look at it and they're just like, I don't know, it sounds like a Ponzi scheme. And it's like, well, I get that. A lot of this stuff is. But like with something like this, you guys have like product out the door. And that's like, that's why I think you guys are slept on more than most projects right now. Like, you can just literally, you don't even have to buy the NFT. Just go try everything out. And then if you want to, like, and you're in NFTs, I would suggest buying one probably early. But yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to see it just getting in the hands of other people that are.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, you know, you saw so many and still see Web3 gaming projects where you got to connect your wallet before you can even see it. Right. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Like,
yeah, I don't want to do that at all, man. Like, absolutely not. Especially in this current like environment, everything is so like sketchy. Like, don't click links, don't do this, don't do that. So like, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to teams to make it a comfortable, safe environment for anybody. Whether you're into NFTs or not, you should be able to go to the website, understand what's happening, try out the product, and then implement it however you want, whether that's like without an NFT and just trying it out, or then deciding like, hey, I really like this. Like, how does this work? And like, I think you guys have a really good like onboarding ramp as far as that goes. It's better than probably any project I know right now. Like, I know Sappy Seals is like working on a new website that I think is going to be a lot more cohesive, because we even struggle with like I struggle with people hitting me up that are like new seals that'll be like, hey, what's going on with the game? Like, what does the pixel pass do? Like, what does this do? What does that do? So it's like having those things in one specific like area. That's the key. And like, I've gone through your guys' website, everything. And like, if I wasn't into NFTs, I would still enjoy it. So like, that's the thing that I look for, you know, because like, it doesn't look lame. It doesn't look like overcomplicated or anything like that. It's just, here's your virtual pet. Also, do you want to own it on the blockchain? That's a thing too, you know? So it's cool. It's more of like an afterthought that adds utility, which is how it should be, honestly.
Exactly. I think it needs to be less about naming it and more about the functionality. I like the idea of just saying, do you want to immortalize it? Like, we don't even need to tell you what that means. Do you want to immortalize it? You know, yes or no. You can dig in and understand what that means if you want, but it's more like, what does blockchain mean for me? It means you can immortalize it. You know, do you want your kids to be able to inherit this? Do you want to be able to, you know, all the things that this unlocks, as opposed to saying, you know, do you want to put it on the blockchain? So I think that's really important. It's what, you know, I think I said this on one of the spaces before. It's the only thing, and I don't want to criticize them, because I think Pudgy Penguins is doing a lot right, but I don't understand why they made the Penguins NFTs and like soulbound NFTs. I'm like, I'd rather someone willingly come to blockchain and be excited about the fact that they can sell it, as opposed to kind of like cutting it off in the knees and giving you like a weakened version of an NFT. It's like, what's the point? It doesn't need to be an NFT. And it took us a while to get to the point that we realized that, but it's like, look, it can be a cloud-based thing. It can be, you know, part of the database without the provenance of blockchain. That's a layer that you can stick on top of it. So
and then the ownership aspect.
Yeah,
and the ownership aspect then ties directly to the blockchain. And then exactly. Like, it's awesome. There's a lot of teams missing the mark with this kind of stuff. There's some doing it completely.
They'll figure it out. And that's what I mean. So I hate to criticize it, because I think that they're doing a lot of good for the space. But
it's one of those things where like you need to be able to talk about this kind of stuff like rationally. Like, I love that, because like you're not just telling everybody this project sucks and they're doing it wrong. But like, everybody's trying different things and experimenting, and that's like, that's the beauty of Web3. Like, that's how you progress anywhere, right? So it has
100%.
to happen in order for innovation to happen. So like I'm
Yes.
I'm totally on board with that.
All these things. Look, the Dookie Dash thing. I mean, I have a hard time saying to my non-Web3 friends with a straight face that there was a thing called Dookie Dash.
Right.
But you know, I thought it was a really smart move for Yuga. I thought it was something that was like they could quickly deliver, you know, and that was a gameplay experience because you know, obviously, the metaverse game, if it comes, is far off in the future.
A million miles away.
Far off in the future. So, you know, I wanted to, I'd like them as their next step to think about it the way we are, which is that this should be a way of showing off this thing that you have, and so it should be your ape, and then you should be able to take it, and that could be that's what they're building towards. But you know, that's the way we see it. But so all of these things, even if I see certain things I wouldn't do that way, we learn from all of them. We take all of this shit in, and you know, the space evolves, right?
And let's be honest, in this space, nobody truly knows. You know
No.
stuff about, obviously, you know a huge amount about games, but this is a new element to games that nobody's got the answers. You've got to test, iterate, learn, and move around again, haven't you? There's no question.
And you have to have the courage to do that, you know? I mean, this you can't stick your fingers in your ears in technology generally, and most particularly in Web3. Like, you got to read the room, and if something's not working, or if the meta's changed or whatever, you got to react to it. And you got to look at what's happened, and you can't assume that because they did it that way, that's the way we should do it. But you know, all these things we have to like take on as learnings if we're gonna.
Yeah, and the kind of thing is you can't follow the meta in NFTs at the moment, because if you followed the meta, you'd have hyped the crap out of this, sold it out, and had nothing. We'd
have the wrong people, you know, is in the project, and that's the saving grace of that to me. Like, look, don't get me wrong, part of me would have just loved to mint out. But if we minted out, it would have been a bunch of flippers, you know, who weren't in it for the right reasons. There are obviously not nearly enough people in the space who really care about utility as much as they say they do. But you know, that'll come with a bigger audience. You know, there's a percentage of the Web3 space that actually wants value. You know, folks like you, folks who follow our project, folks in Discord who talk about it and stuff. But you know, most of the people in the space aren't here for that reason. And so the only way to mint out this project is to appeal to them. And they're just here to flip. And they're not the kind of user we need.
And they're not going to value the utility either, because they're basically probably never going to log in unless there's some sort of token at the end of it or something, you know. They're just whereas now you've got the advantage of you've got some people who really want to see this go forward, so you've got some decent testers and things like that outside of the team, you know, so it just gives you that extra layer. It's going to be so exciting when people start coming on board, and
I think
the wealth of opportunity, you know,
I agree, man.
Through that free path, it's just such an easy onboarding, isn't it?
And what I'm glad is that we built so much technology in that direction that allows us to take that approach. Like, this was never just about an NFT, you know, it was always about the sort of core technology that we built. And so we were, you know, we had no issue with saying, okay, that's fine. So we need to deliver the mass market product, and then we need to get people on board. Let's go. And so we were only able to do that, you know, because the approach that we took, I think. So
it's super exciting how you could bring brands into it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really having fun with that, and having fun talking to these brands about what it means, because you know, there are a lot of brands out there that want to be on the bleeding edge of technology. It's a good look for shoe companies and IP holders and Hollywood and stuff to be able to, you know, be in AR, be in VR, be across ChatGPT, bring out your Twitch stream, all the stuff that we're talking about. The blocker for a lot of these guys is NFTs and Web3, and the fact that they don't want to have the public, you know, the public perception of that. So we're able to say, you know what, that's fine. We can push that part off, and you can just position this to your audience as something that's Web2, and that resonates.
Oh, it certainly does.
And what I'm hearing from brands is that I think you're going to see more and more of that. Like, I think we had to take a little bit of a step back to really leap forward, in Web3, you know? And, you know, and I think we're going to find out that, like, my assumption back in the beginning was that we needed everything to be Web3. You know, and we have a lot of Web3 investors that I said, oh, there's certain aspects of this project that can't be that yet because the technology doesn't exist yet. But don't worry, we'll migrate everything to be purest Web3. Now I'm not so sure that we ever need to. I think that there's certain things about Web2 that are better, you know? For example, logging in with Google and Apple. That was the main thing everyone asked for as soon as we launched was, why can't I just log in with my Google account? It's like, well, because that's not very Web3, is it? But, you know, Gary V said this, right? That Web3 is great until you want customer support.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, there are trappings of Web2 that and I'm not saying that eventually we won't figure out how to democratize in Web3 those things too, but I don't feel as much of a rush to break what isn't, you know, what doesn't, to fix what isn't broken.
I think it's like just different for every project. People fall into these like maximalistic ideals that don't work for every single scenario, right? Like it's just not how it is. I could see some projects that should be fully decentralized. I could see other projects that need some sort of centralization. Like it just depends what you're building. It doesn't, there's no like standard here. And that's the thing a lot of people miss is they just fall into this mindset that everything needs to be one way. And it's like, if you're going to be in Web3, you need to have an open mind, first of all, because like not everything's the same here, you know, like it's just not how it works. And like for you guys, it's like, do you really want to spend the time decentralizing absolutely everything? Or do you want to build a company that works? And like building a company that works should be the main focus for you. For other projects, it might be different, but it's acceptable to have these different expectations for different companies, projects, etc. So I don't understand that logic. I think it's just people who are stuck on one mindset that this is how everything needs to work.
There's so much of the world of that right now, right? People are so certain that they're right about whatever the thing is, and it has to be this purest, my way or no way. And the truth is kind of gray, you know, on most things usually.
Facts.
And so
stupidest thing as well is there is no decentralized Web3 project. Straight away that you've got an NFT project, you have got one great bit of centralization, you know, with very little democracy or anything. You know, some people have got DAOs and some function quite well, but fundamentally, you go into a team, here's my money. And you're trusting them to deliver something. You can't
without any due diligence. Right.
And often you can't, because half these projects they just launch and they don't tell you anything, or you don't even know who the team is, or the roadmap's woolly as hell, you know. So I think if it isn't broken, why deploy engineering resource to fix something? You know, just to go, it's Web3. Because the only person who's going to be bothered about that is one of these decentralization maxis, and to be honest, they're probably not the right product market fit for this. You know,
True. Totally. They probably didn't buy the cat to play with it.
No, exactly. They bought it to flip it. Which, like, look, man, like a flipper's market. I get it. Like, I totally understand being a flipper. I've flipped certain things in the last 2 years, you know, and then usually I'll roll those back into a project that I believe in long term. So like, I think that like having both of those mindsets is very important. Like a lot of people are just here to flip.
I have never sold an NFT. I have kept everything I've ever bought.
I know so many people who've never sold anything. They just get what they like. And like that, honestly, that's probably the most comfortable way to move in the space. Like just get what you want right now and then close your eyes and wait. Like that's really all you have to do.
Because you like it. It's like art, you know? I mean, those of us who aren't art collectors, and I'm one of them, I don't know shit about the art world. I shouldn't be buying art because it's going to go up in value. I should buy it because I like it, because my judgment means fuck all in the art world. And it's the same for most of us in NFTs. Buy it because you like it, because you really think you know, like in the long run. If you look at almost like 99% of these projects are down from where you bought them. You know, if you look historically at it. So obviously nobody knows.
Nobody knows anything. I think that's the most important thing, is just being able to understand that you might not know everything, you know? It is what it is. And like also stay in your lane. Like if everybody stayed in their lane in this space, which I know is a pipe dream, there really would be a lot less issues, you know, like there's certain things for flipping, there's other things for long term, and you have to do the research, period, you know, like because I'm sure you guys had a lot of people that were like, oh, okay, like virtual cats, cool, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna make a bag. And then they would
Yeah.
buy it, and then they're like, well, what's going on? Like this isn't going anywhere. And then you
Yeah.
receive all of this FUD. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, to be real with you, like if I bought a product and it worked as it was said to work as, then I have no reason to complain. And like with
Yeah.
Petaverse, if you bought one of these, you got everything and more than what was
Yeah.
promised. So there's really
I
no
don't want
reason
my
to
job to be watching OpenSea floor price. It's like that
No.
should not be an indicator of our success, you know?
Sure.
No.
Exactly right. At least,
Whilst we're
especially not
saying
now.
that, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Whilst we're
No,
saying
you-
that, though, it would be remiss of me not to say if anyone doesn't have a cat, there are some very nice bargains.
Tragically, a few of them were someone's account got hacked that we talked offline
Oh,
about.
again.
That's rough.
I was really bummed to see that. I don't want to say who, but it was someone I knew, and I was like, first I was just a bit bummed. I'm like, why are you selling them? But they reached out to me to say that this happened. So really sucks.
Yeah, that's rough. I've seen that a few times. I've been at the receiving end of that of my own doing before. Like I know a lot of people have gone through that. It's not a good experience. So that's
Well, this happened, with Ponz's project. I bought a frog. I don't know if you heard this
Yeah.
story.
I love
bought a
Pond,
frog.
but no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I bought a frog. This must have been like, I don't know, a couple months ago. He and I had just had a chat, and I'm like, fuck it, I should own one of these. And this right after I did it, I went into Discord. I gated into the Discord, and the first thing I see is someone trying to figure out who I am because someone had stolen this guy's frog.
Wow.
And it was this is heartbreaking. It was his first NFT. The kid was like 26 years old. And
Yeah.
I'm like, look, dude, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get this back to you. Like, it isn't like I bought an ape. Like, I bought it for like 0.2 ETH or something like that,
Sure.
But he's really sweet, and he all the frogs follow me now. I swear, like half of them follow me now because I did right, but I just did what I was, I thought was the right thing to do. We can't always do it. If I spent 5 ETH on something, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. But
Sure. Of
I think
course.
everyone needs to watch each other's backs a bit more, I guess. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying that, we just need to all be a bit kinder to each other.
Yeah, man. Like I've done stuff like nothing like that, but like I've bought people's like ENS before. Like there's this guy Bruno that me and Mr. Yellow know really well as like a project called Wise Fellas. And like I noticed he hadn't had the ENS, so I bought that and sent it to him. Like
Oh, that's sweet.
there's all kinds of stuff that you could do to like just be a nice person in Web3. Like, you know what I mean? Like if we're not all helping each other out in some way, like we're the only ones left here, man. Like it's not that many people here. So like I'm always a big proponent of like everybody, like even if you disagree, just like agree to disagree and separate and table it for later, like in the Discord call or in the DMs, and like stop making us look so bad. All right.
Yeah. Charity is a big thing that we're looking into as well, by the way. That will have
That's
the
cool.
ability to. We're going to be introducing not for Ethereum holders, but for folks who just come in and build a free pet. We'll be introducing subscriptions in the future. And what I'd like to do is even offer them the ability to pay a little bit more and have that go to a rotating charity.
That's
I think
cool.
it'd be a really cool thing to do in the future.
Yeah.
So
We got Crypto up in the space again. So Crypto,
hey,
have you
Crypto.
got a question?
Yeah, it's more like I was just look like while you were talking about the OpenSea collection of ours, I totally forgot about it and just saw like what was the plan? What were the plans for the black label cats again?
Oh, that's a really good question. So there are a handful of them out there. Mine and Lee's, which I mainly did because I want people to always know that they're talking to the person they think that they are on Twitter. And there are a few others out there like Farouk's and DGen Network. But beyond that, it's something I want to start thinking about. I'd love to look at it being a way of rewarding some folks for being super involved early on in the community. There are up to 19 of them. We only made 5 or 6 of them so far. So there's still some out there. So I love that you raised that. And I think we talked about maybe it being something that like the community can nominate. So, I'm going to talk to Beth about that and see if maybe we start looking at that. I think that's a great call out.
Okay. Yeah. I see currently like 7 of them.
Is it 7? 1, 2. It probably must be Farouk's, Darwin's. 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4. DJ Networks 5. Bored Elon Musk is 6. I'm trying to think who the 7th one is. My brain's not working right now.
Okay.
It's 6 or 7.
Yeah, I forgot about it, so just wanted to kind of refresh on it. Okay. Yeah, those are definitely quite cool. So
yeah.
You should.
But
do
I would
one
love the
for
idea
Pinky
of
Doll.
starting to look at awarding those out there, like sort of like as an honorary thing. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
If you can get TikTok integration, you should definitely do one for Pinky Doll. Can you imagine how wild that would be with
Gang,
the
gang.
Petaverse? Gang, gang.
I'm totally looking into this. I have to completely understand this gang gang.
Oh, don't. It'll do your head in within 2 seconds. Someone, I think it's Udi. Udi did one with Gary Gensler.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he did.
you had
Oh,
like
God.
Vitalik putting up AVAX, Solana,
It's so
Solana.
funny. I'll be real, man. I'm all for it, man. They figured out a way to suck liquidity out of TikTok like crazy, man. Like Pinky is doing well right now, so good for her. I don't know if I could do that every day. I'm gonna be real with you, but it depends. I don't know. Maybe I should try it, and I'll try it with
She does well, and she does this well that it's literally 2x in every day, the estimates. I think it started at 100K a month, and then I had 200K the next day, and then I had 500,000 or something.
I'm in the wrong business, man. I got to get out of Web3 and I got to get on TikTok with these pets in my background. If I had 2 cute cats in the background, I might have a shot.
If you did it, in a really dour way,
you call yourself like Crazy Cat Guy or something, and have like
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll make a new TikTok. I'm a crazy cat man.
Cat.
Yeah.
Meow meow. Oh, wait, that means
meow.
Meow.
Oh dear. I think we're going downhill here.
I know. We're out of time. It's 8:56 here in the UK, right?
Yes, yeah, it's getting on. So, last chance for the room if anyone's got any pressing questions. Obviously, we're going to.
This is a fun chat tonight, though. I've enjoyed this. I think everyone just listened to the 3 of us blather on, but I had fun. So,
yeah, I enjoy it. So, I mean, the plan is every week, obviously, but Susan does have trips at times.
Once in a while,
not
things
holidays.
Happen,
mostly work normally. But yeah, anyone? I'm not seeing any hands. Do you want to any closing thoughts, King Arth, and then Susan?
I would say get a cat, Bozo.
Get a cat.
Yeah, but there's I would say get a cat while you can. Like, there's not that many listed, so like you could probably get one pretty cheap. I've seen a lot of like WETH offers get taken. So like if you do,
I've never seen anyone
one,
sell the vouchers either. The vouchers are tradable, but no one ever sees
vouchers. I don't see trade at all. It was like what 0.15, I think. But like the pets, I think you can get one at like 0.02 right now. So that's pretty decent for having like literally get the cat, have immediate utility, especially if you're a streamer or something. Like I'm gonna use these for content I make, whether it's like product reviews or anything really. Like you could use these things just for a little bit of flair. So like for me, it's a perfect utility right now. For other people, like I think it's a really good opportunity to get in there early and like watch this thing flesh out and not think about a flip, just think about like the long term. So that'd be my best advice for sure.
Love it. Appreciate you, King Arth.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Mr. Yale. Have a great night, everyone. See you back here next week. See you in Discord. I'll be posting some more alpha this week in there.
Let's
go. Nice.
More alpha. Guys. More alpha.
See you later.
Bye all.